G'day, it's Dr. Richard Norris here. Welcome to today's blog. Today I wanted to talk about taking a leap of faith. I had cut this because I took a leap of faith trying some new technology, and for whatever reason the video I cut when I put it up on YouTube, the video was not in sync with the audio, so I obviously need a few lessons, but I was taking a risk. But that's an interesting insight just there. Because when it comes to taking a leap of faith, and this whole topic came up because I put a discussion, I think, up on Facebook the other day, and a couple of people came back and said, Richard, what do you do when you have to take a step of faith, or how do you go about it? And it's a great question, especially today, because today is my 23rd wedding anniversary, and it's also the 25th anniversary of me proposing to my wife, and it's also the 50th anniversary of my birth. So I'll never forget my wife and my wedding date, our anniversary, because it's on my birthday. But what I wanted to share with you was just in that whole scenario alone. All those years ago when I was intending to propose to my wife, I was taking a big risk. And when you're asked to take a step of faith, or a leap of faith, there's always risk involved. And 25 years ago, I took a big risk. I phoned my wife's parents, who lived in Hong Kong at the time, and asked if I could marry their daughter. I told my parents, I told everyone else. The only person who didn't know was my wife. I even told a television station, because what I had done is I bought 15 minutes of commercial time to propose to my wife on TV. It was a big risk because it was on national TV back in Canada in front of millions of people. It was on the line. And that was a big leap of faith for me. Well, I was pretty confident, but there's always a power out there that says, it might not work in your favor. But as leaders, if for us to be a success, whether it's at work, rest, or play, we have to be prepared to take those leaps of faith. And it's one of those things. It's like when my dad was deciding whether or not to move from the UK to Canada when we were just kids. He walked the streets of London for 1 or 2 weeks, and I remember him saying to me, Richard, he said, I finally decided to go to Canada, bring us all to Canada, because if I hadn't, I would have been asking myself one question my entire life: what if? And maybe that's a great question for those of you who, like me, and I still face situations where I have to consider taking a leap of faith, and I'm faced with a risk, big and small. Changing careers, I've done that a few times. Being unemployed, I've done that. Investing an awful lot of money in buying and starting up a business, I've taken all those kinds of leaps of faith. And and again, the question I keep asking myself is, what if? And also, my dad said, if you don't ask, you don't get. Much like when I was asking my wife to marry me, if I hadn't asked, I would never know what the answer was, be it a yes or a no. So you had to take that leap of faith. And so hopefully for those of you out there, this perhaps has been some help and insight. Just take and appreciate that when you take a leap of faith, that's the time when, from my perspective, I have to take a leap of faith before God acts. Sometimes He's just sitting there waiting patiently and say, Richard, just get your foot out in front of you, take that first step, and then I'll move alongside you, because that's the direction that I want you to go in. And for those of you out there, accountability is a great thing when it comes to taking a leap of faith. As I did with my in-laws, as I did with my parents, as I did with the TV station, there's a lot of accountability in place to make sure I asked that question. I took that leap of faith. And that's why there's a good surge of interest and uptake of coaches and mentors today, because a lot of people, you've got to take that leap of faith at the edge of your comfort zone. And sometimes it's a leap into the darkness. Sometimes it's a leap into the unknown, but you've got to take it, and having that person there alongside along the way to keep you accountable and help you to make those decisions, take those steps, is always a good thing. But other than that, just to finish off on your power play, consider and look over and review where you are today. And I'm guessing that perhaps for some of you, if not all of you, there's a place where you have to take a leap of faith. Look at it, consider it, and just take that step and do it with boldness, and you'll get the feedback that you need to know what will be the next step. But other than that, take care, God bless, and as always, be awesome. Thank you.